again with another session on my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about double and triple tonguing. Now, it seems like a mystery to many young students on how to do this. I'll be perfectly honest with you. When I was in 8th grade, I was trying to teach myself the double tongue out of the Arvin book. I didn't have a private teacher. And so I learned the tongue really fast. But I went to all district band and I saw these two band directors that were talking, and I knew they played the trumpet. So I was very shy. So instead of asking them a question, I overheard them talking. I kind of eavesdropped on their conversation, and they were talking about double and triple tonguing. And I realized when they were talking that I'd been doing it wrong for a year. What I was actually doing, I was just single tonguing. I was devastated. I spent a whole year working on this, thinking that I was double tonguing and triple tonguing. Now, to be honest, in a sense it was a blessing in disguise because I developed extremely fast single tonguing, which has always held me in good stead ever since. But I had to start over with the double tonguing. My problem was I didn't understand the K syllable. I thought I understood it, but I did not. The explanation in the Arvin book is very vague. So, not knowing what I was doing, I didn't do it correctly. So anyway, I say that to caution you to make sure that you're doing the second syllable and the third syllable in triple tonguing correctly. Now in the Arvin book, you will see he suggests doing 2 ku, and then for double tonguing, and then for triple tonguing it's t ku, 2 ku with the U sound. And there are 2 other ways to do triple tonguing. You can do it TKT, or you can double tongue triplets, just put accent in a different place. That's what flute players do a lot. They double tongue triplets. Now, the more traditional ways, they put the K at the end, which is where I start a student. If after a reasonable period of time they can't develop enough speed, then we shift to putting the K in the middle. That usually takes care of it. I have had students who on their own initiative have developed both kinds, saying that one type works better for a certain kind of situation than others, which I would certainly not discourage that, and I hope you, if you're a teacher, you wouldn't discourage that either. But the main key factor is, no matter what syllables you use, it has to sound like single tonguing. Let me say that again. Double and triple tonguing must sound the same as single tonguing. It's not some weird technique that you can hear. If you can tell by listening to somebody double tongue and triple tongue that they're doing double and triple tonguing, by hearing it, they're not doing it very well. The only way you could possibly tell is there's no one that can single tongue that fast. You get me? It should always sound like single tonguing. Now this brings up the first mistake young players make. Most people start with double tonguing because today in modern bands you run into 16th notes grouped in 2s and 4s more than you run into 16th note triplets. And most students begin working on double tonguing first. And as soon as they can put 4 syllables together, they start working on speed. Well, the problem is they haven't developed the K sound to where it sounds like single tonguing, and they end up rushing and jamming it together. And on repeated notes, you can kind of get by with that, but we have to go up and down scales, change it on every note. Your fingers will not coordinate with your tongue. Okay? Now, in the Arvin book, the Gordon version, if you look on page 7 at footnote 13, which is at the bottom of the page, he talks about that the TU syllable is actually in French. I've mentioned this before in one of my YouTube things. This U pronounced in French is not like the U we say in English. It's more a nasal sound pushed forward. He suggests, and I've taught my entire career, that the syllable you use is T, key. Two reasons. First of all, it's closer to the way the French U sounds, plus the E sound helps arch your tongue as you go higher. And we've talked about that endlessly. Okay, so I'm not going to go into it now, just take my word for it. Now, the way you start working on this, and you can use Arvin book, there are all kind of books on it, is very, very slowly. Now what I have my students do is I have them go T, 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 key, 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 4 T's, 4 keys. And see if they can get the key sound to sound like the single tongue and sound of T. Now, if you have trouble saying the key sound, it's like saying the word quiche. Quiche is the K in quiche. Quiche, quiche, quiche. That helps you feel it. It's kind of like your tongue drops down from the roof of your mouth. Okay? Now at first it'll be very awkward and it'll sound terrible. All right? If you're lucky it won't, but most people it sounds awful. Now you must, under all circumstances, if you're serious, you must record when you're doing this because you cannot hear the attack behind the trumpet. You can do it on your phone. You probably can't have a good tone on your phone, and you probably won't, it just won't sound very good, but you can hear the attacks. You can hear if the K sound is like the attack on the T sound. Okay? Now, as soon as you can get T, key, T, key, T, key on repeated notes slowly, just like I sang, then you start playing up and down scales. Get off repeated notes as soon as you can. It causes you to play unevenly. The easiest thing to do is go to the Clark book, Clark Technical Studies, to the first study, page 2 on the first study. Number 12 or 13 is really easy. And you go T, key, T, key, T, key, T, key on the chromatic scales. And coordinate your fingers with the tongue on double tonguing. Okay? And again, you need to record it to hear that they sound like single tonguing.